So we recently saw three more hostages from Israel released by Hamas, and the state of them was very similar to Holocaust survivors. The emaciation, if you compare how each of them looked in this picture at the top and now how they look after a year and a half or so in the Hamas dungeons, it is clear that there's been a deep, deep level of abuse and malnourishment. I want to first show you what President Trump had to say about this, how they look like Holocaust survivors, and that whether this can continue to go on without crushing Hamas at a faster pace is now a very, very urgent question. Have a watch.
Hamas has been a disaster. And by the way, I have to tell you that I watched the hostages come back today, and they look like Holocaust survivors. They were in horrible condition. They were emaciated. It looked like many years ago, the Holocaust survivors. And I don't know how much longer we can take that. When I watch that, I know we have a deal where we're supposed to they dribble in and keep dribbling in, but they are in really bad shape. They have been treated brutally, horribly. Even the ones that came out earlier, they were in a little bit better shape, but mentally they were treated so badly. Who could take that? At some point, we're going to lose our patience. When I see that scene that I saw today with people coming out of helicopters and airplanes that are emaciated, that look like they haven't had a meal in a month, no reason for that. And I don't know how much longer we can take it. I don't know how long we can take it. When I watch people that were healthy people a reasonably short number of years ago, and you look at them today, they look like they've aged 25 years. They literally look like the old pictures of Holocaust survivors. The same thing. The same thing. And I don't know how long we're going to take that.
Yeah, he's absolutely right. And, the language that he uses about the fact that they're dribbling in, he's absolutely right. And I wonder if, the deal that we're seeing at the moment between Hamas and Israel that's leading to some of these hostages being released, this wasn't agreed by Trump. This is a deal that Israel and Hamas agreed to months prior, perhaps under a lot of pressure from the Biden administration. But I suspect that this is not a deal Trump would have agreed to, where they slowly dribble in, as he says, and we are seeing thousands, not hundreds, thousands of Palestinian criminals, terrorists, murderers being released into the public. What happens when we don't negotiate with terrorists? What message does this send to the terrorists? You're telling them that taking hostages pays. As a result of doing this deal, which could, God forbid, lead to more bloodshed because you're releasing these criminals, barbarians into the public again, but you're basically saying that all Israelis are a potential hostage now. You're holding every Israeli hostage, every Jew hostage, because you're saying that if you take hostages, you'll end up getting your people released. It's really, really lamentable, much as it's wonderful and incredible to see every single hostage released. But Judaism, from what I understand, would teach that you get your war aims achieved only through strength and not through releasing people into the public that could pose a direct danger to Israelis. Let's not forget that it was Sinwar who was released in a prior hostage to terrorists release deal. We have to learn the lessons of history. But it's been released in more detail. We've discovered more details about what has been done to the hostages. I'll just show you there Hen Mazig, who's reporting on this. New testimonies on the captivities of Levi, Eli Sharabi, and Ohad Ben Ami. One of the ex-hostages freed, who chose to remain anonymous, revealed he was bound in chains, and only towards his release did he learn how to walk again. The hostages were tortured, hung by their legs, gagged to the point of suffocation, burned with hot objects. At one point, one of the hostages collapsed from starvation and abuse, and the others believed he was dead. The anonymous hostage says this moment was particularly traumatic. Orlevi described the tunnel was narrow and low with no possibility of standing or walking. The terrorists played twisted games. You get released and you don't. The men were deliberately starved for long periods of time. They were fed a single rotten pitta, which they had to share with the other hostages. They were rarely given water. Each testimony reveals a new level of Hamas evil and surpasses even the worst horrors we thought possible. These people survived a horror movie, but it's no movie, it is reality. And meanwhile, we're told that there is starvation among the people of Gaza. That certainly doesn't seem to be the case from what we're seeing in those videos and those supposedly celebratory events where they parade and torment the hostages. But more than that, I wanted to show you this clip from Netanyahu, where he's explaining that actually, far from starvation in Gaza, and sometimes it seems that there's overeating. Have a watch.
This kangaroo court called the ICC, they declared me a war criminal, right? And what am I charged with? That we deliberately starved the population of Gaza, right? Which is completely false. I mean, we gave instructions early on, not only to get them out of harm's way, but also to supply humanitarian supplies like food, water, whatever. But here's the thing. We took thousands of Palestinian Hamas prisoners, okay? You know what the first thing you do when you take a prisoner, a Palestinian Hamas prisoner? You want to make sure that he doesn't have an explosive belt on his, suicide belt, okay? So you ask them to take their shirts off. So now we have photos of thousands of these prisoners who have, without their shirt. And you will not find not one emaciated. In fact, you'll find quite a few who are overweight because they eat, because there's no starvation. And also they don't exercise, you don't get much exercise in the tunnels, right? In these terror tunnels that they built. So this is completely false.
So as you can see, lies and truth are totally distorted. The fundamental lie of the whole conflict is that Israel is somehow the aggressor and that it's the poor Palestinians who are the ones who are the oppressed. They're the new Jews. It is such a lie. It is such falsehood. And the world has been convinced of it. The world has been convinced of these lies. The truth is that it is actually Israel who has been victimized. We aren't victims, but they've been victimized by an anti-Israel machine that used the people in Gaza and Judea and Samaria, the Arabs there, as pawns, often willing pawns, of an anti-Semitic movement. The notion that the Arabs there are the underdogs, no, they're not the underdogs. They represent a whole Arab and anti-Israel coalition that is far, far greater than Israel, that manufacture suffering and victimhood in order to undermine Israel. But be in no doubt, the starvation is not from the people of Gaza, it's the hostages. The victimization is not the people of Gaza, it's the Jewish people, it's the people of Israel. On every single count, on every single accusation that is made against Israel, you will find that it is actually the opposite, and that it is those who are making the accusations who are they themselves guilty of what they accuse Israel of. Hi, thank you so much for watching. To watch another one, click here. To stay up to date with all our content, click here to subscribe. And if you're able to, you can help support JTV to grow and grow by clicking join below this video, where you can become a member and get perks including early access to videos and private live discussions with me. But most of all, you'll be partnering with us on our mission to change the world.